Welcome. My name is Mark Anthony Dubose Jr. I was born July 4th, 1986. I want to say thank you for tuning in. Today, I'm in what I'm going to say is my favorite chicken coop. But this chicken coop in reality is something that is strange and very, I don't want to use the word confusing, but just savage in a way is the better word to use. It's interesting that everything wants to live, nothing wants to die. I mean, all these animals in here. I pick these chicks up, they start to get scared and terrified of, oh my goodness, you're gonna hurt me. You're gonna hurt me. And they all want to live. None of them want to die. But yet, what they're doing in here and everywhere is they're cool and willing to take a bug's life. They're cool to take the grass's life. They're cool to take any sort of little insect. They'll kill the insect so that they can live, but they don't want to die. It's a weird dilemma that if everything was to live, nothing would be, if there was no death and everything lives, there would be no way for anything to actually be able to live. Something has to die for us to be able to live. Why is it like that? I didn't create it, I didn't make it. But it's really fascinating when you look at the world in a sense of understanding that for you to be able to survive, something has to die. And that's how, for me, it's been easier to do what it is that I do, knowing that pretty much everything that's in here. This is my first test that I'm doing with my hatched out birds on the property to turn them into some food for me. I'm going to start to turn these all into little Cornish hens, is what I'm going to process them to be. And that concept has been hard for me because it's been hard for me to, like, say, kill a chicken just to eat it. It's very weird. But yet you have to understand that that has to happen so that we could be able to live. Someone can say, "Oh, you don't need meat, eat meat." You're still killing the plants. You're still killing the veggies. You're still killing to be able to survive. The plant doesn't want to die. It wants to thrive and survive and do what it needs to do. The lettuce wants to be able to grow to be the biggest it absolutely possibly can be. And all these plants, they all grow out seeds. They want to be able to get to the point to be able to get the seed so that they can just keep spreading and going and going and going and going. But we as humans, we come in before the seed starts to take it, to strip it so that we can eat it, so that we can go on another day. This is just across the board with everything. Someone says the only thing is taking life is by taking something that is perceived to be, as we humans think it to be, as alive, like such as a chicken here. But this concept has allowed me to be able to just easily and freely do what it is that I do with no worries and no feeling bad about it. And it's something that I think a lot of people are kind of stuck in just today, especially with the the areas and the style of life that we live in. That you don't want to. This is a very interesting dilemma. We don't. You would Someone would say to me, "Oh, you're wrong for taking out a chicken and eating it," but yet you go to McDonald's to get a chicken sandwich. You go to Chick-fil-A and get your little chicken nuggets all the time. You go to the restaurant and get your chicken parmesan. You go to all these stores and get all your food, but you're going to protest about what someone else is doing is wrong. That's the part where, again, we're not understanding that something absolutely has to die for us to be able to live. Something has to die for the plants to be able to live. Something has to die for every single animal out here to be able to live. Someone may say the best one can be a cow that's only eating grass, but it's destroying the grass. It is coming in as a plague to the grass to eat it all and consume it and stomp on it and pee on it and poop on it and lay in it and do whatever it wants to it. And it just doesn't care. Everything is doing that on these lands. And it's the way that it is. It just is what it is. And then when I really think about that, it comes down to something I was thinking about yesterday about us as humans. There has to be that level of a human that is trying to destroy another human. It just is what it is. All these animals do that. The dogs do it to each other, the cows do it to each other, the chickens do it to each other. They're all bickering and fighting and battling. So I've got a few older ones that are in here. They're only going to stay in here because they don't fight with each other. And they also don't fight with my young new baby chicks. They get a little tip when I throw a whole new batch in here. But the only reason they can stay in here is because of that. Because what I'm going to say is maintaining and keeping the order. Otherwise, they would maintain the order themselves. And it would come down to seeing a dead chick every single day, more than likely, until the one that's in said power and control is able to just be the one that's it. I mean, I've done batches of chickens like that where I just let the fights go just to see what would happen. And one would just take out. It would take one. I've had one batch that there was about 200 in total in here. They're all young. They were like maybe a week old. And she took out half. One chicken took out half of them. because it wanted all the food. It didn't want to share any of it. It took half of them out. The only reason that they didn't take the other half out is because they were starting to get bigger and bigger to the point that they could start to band up and start to fight back. But it didn't end. She would just always constantly be just on this just rampage of just wanting to destroy. And it's fascinating because I took that one out and put it outside. And then that one started to getting picked on by the ones that already lived outside. And that one didn't make it because it's trying to fight now towards something that knows how to, that's way more tougher, way more resilient. And it's a very unfortunate thing, but that's just like how life is. We have humans that are that exact same way, that are out to just, they have to destroy because they don't know and don't see and don't understand any other way. They don't even want to try to think that something else can be able to have what it is that they have. That their brain is just, I have to destroy you so that I can have it all. They want it all. Even though the all is unlimited, but they want it all, not thinking and seeing that there is an unlimited to be able to share. And they just want everything about it. So the way that this world unfortunately is there has to be somebody that has to take out, destroy, so that another part can be able to live. And in history, when it comes down to us as humans, we see this with certain wars and certain dictators and certain people and certain stuff that goes on. That they will go to destroying it all. They'll destroy it all just so that they are the only ones that can just be here. And unfortunately, it's like we're doing the same stuff again right now. Because for some reason, we as humans are stuck in this new, what they call it, they call it cancel culture. And we're trying to not talk about the tragedies that happened before. We're trying not to talk about it at all because it's so bad that we don't want to know about it. But in reality, we need to know about it because otherwise we're gonna walk in, do and be the same stuff again over and over again. Where for these animals, I can change it all up. Like everything was good until one of the big chicks just got nervous of the dog. So one got scared, which is one of the big ones. Is all the other smaller ones are gonna be like, oh, that's the lead one, and she just ran. She ran away. She ran and got into the little house thing right here behind here. Now everyone else is like, oh my goodness, they're all on edge. And what's gonna happen? And now what has to happen is now a new leader has to come in to be able to take over. Now this is the part where we can erase history and say that never happened. And then we won't remember that history. Now all that's going to happen is that same thing is going to keep on happening over again. That's where we're headed right now. We're headed to the same stuff that has to happen because we as a people don't want to remember, don't want to think about, don't want to pay any attention to what used to go down. And what used to go down is what it just is. One gets stuck in it. This is the part where animals do this. I question us as humans if we actually are as intelligent as we say we are, or as we think we are, as we try to be. I just can't eat their food. You can eat it out the ground. You can't eat it out their if we're really as smart as we actually say we are, because when it comes down to the animals, they're savage, straight up. That's just what they are. They don't care. They will destroy and destroy and destroy and have no cares. They just look forward at their mission of we're going to do whatever it is that we want to do. We're going to make happen whatever it is that we want to make happen. And the only reason that I'm able to, like said, bring any sort of peace is because I can come in as a logical, intelligent thinking human to be able to say, that's going nowhere. We need to change this up to go and do something different. But it's almost like we as actual human to human, we don't seem to do that. We seem to just blindly continue to keep on moving forward and just going down this destructive route without looking at it like, hey, maybe we should and need to be doing something different here. We need to do something much, much different. Because that's like something of, again, me as being a human to intervene of what goes on. Day one with this dog, there would have been chaos in this coop right now with just allowing her to just freely walk around just as she is. I'm just letting her walk and do what she wants to do. But I came in and said, hey, Ophi, that's destructive. That's not right. That, not even to say what's right or wrong, but that's not bringing any sort of peace. All you're coming in is just destroying. Just taking it all out. So I came in and I explained to her, let's not do that. If you have this desire that you just have to be the best, let's go find you that said work, that game to be able to do that in so that you don't have to destroy everything around. You could just have some fun doing what you need to do in a way that's not going to actually harm anybody. And that's how, say, she's been able to calm down and relax, knowing that I came in as an intelligent human to be able to say to her, I don't want you doing that. But it's like, we don't do that same, Ofi, nuh-uh. We don't do that same level of accountability to us, each other as humans. We see someone doing something extremely destructive, just crazy on crazy, and we just look the other way. We look the other way and just say, oh, it's all right. As long as it's not affecting me, I'm fine with it. But just say it's not affecting you yet. Yet is all that it's not affecting you by. Yet. And that's how, like, I can say the scenario in here. These ones out here can be running around, and the ones in the coop back there can say, or they're in the coop within the coop, I guess, can say, oh, none of that bothers me. The dog, it doesn't matter. But as soon as everything out here is destroyed, where do you think the dog's going to go next? In there. And it's going to start to destroy them. And that's the part where we're just, as humans, are being no different than an animal. No different. Because we treat each other the exact same way. We do all the exact same stuff with each other as what these animals do. They're not really working to, like, properly get the threat out. They just run away, they hide, they just do absolutely nothing and just allow the devastation to just take them over. And then when there's no more of them, then they just look around and say, oh, whatever. Y'all just take me and just, I don't want nothing more here. As opposed to someone smart, because the animals don't do this because they're not said that intelligent compared to what they just do. It's almost like they are on programming, but they can't deviate that program in the way that, which I thought, but I'm not 100% sure still, that we as humans can deviate from our programming. That we're just doing, but we can just decide to say, I want to do that instead now. I don't want to keep going that route. And that's the part where the control makes it easy to be able to allow something, somebody, all I can say is something. I won't even say somebody. Something to be able to just take everything and devour us to the point that we are nothing and nobody. And again, the more I keep watching the animal stuff of thinking of life and death and thinking of how to be able to survive, it's almost like the higher the numbers we are, the better off it is. The better off it's going to be able to survive and being able to do, as opposed to having less. It's kind of scary when I just think about some weird stuff and some weird old movies that I used to watch about us as humans and what could potentially be our future. Of why would somebody want to control the people so much? Why would something want to be able to tell us all that just we have to live in this small little area and we can't go explore and do anything? Why would something want to just always keep telling us what we can and we can't do, where we can and we can't go, how we need to be, how we need to dress, how we need to do everything, what kind of work we need to do, what kind of exercise we're allowed to do, when we're allowed to do it, where we're allowed to do it at? It just doesn't make sense, other than coming to the aspect of the reasons that something is able to live is because something has to die. And when there's a mass level of control, it makes it very strange in a way that it makes it easy to be able to, I'm gonna say something completely weird right now because this is how I process my chickens, because I always let them out. I don't make them stay in here their whole life. I put them in here, but then I give them some freedom. Y'all go do what y'all want to do. And I give them a certain times of the day, basically. But some don't want to come back in. And it's hard to gather them when they're out free doing what they're doing. It's really hard. It's almost like it's half of it impossible. I have to, like, bring the dog out. I have to go on the hunt for it. And if they jump into the trees, it's pretty much, I can't get it. It's so hard to get them when they're said not in control in the coop. When they're out there, it's so hard. But it's so easy to gather them up when they're all in here. I could just, because I have little, I don't know if you can see it, those right there, so I could put those in front of that gate to make it smaller, and I make it smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller, and then I can easily just get them all. Because now I've got them very easy, they're all controlled. I got them all. She's going inside their little home now. I'm saying there's nothing safe. But when you're in the coop, you're not safe. But when you're outside the coop, you're much more safer. And but that's weird to think about when that's kind of what's trying to go down with us as humans. Is we're all kind of out and scattered, and we're all kind of like semi-free. But something is trying to control us to the point of saying, you have to stay here. You have to do this. You can't own these. You can't buy this. You can't do this. You can't create your own food. You can't get your own weapons. You can't say whatever you want to say. You can't do so much to just put you into this little area so that if something in time were to come, they could just easily just grab you and snatch you up. As opposed to someone like my crazy self saying, living where I'm living. And not only just having, because I don't care about what I have, I care about the skills that I acquire. That's why everything I do is on the low, like nothing. I'm trying to figure out how to build shelters like in the ground so that I can be able to be hidden in reality, like low, because it's about the skills. A person that has a lot of skills is gonna be really hard to capture. It's like the chicken that goes into the tree. I'm gonna be that weird dude that goes into the tree. That's gonna be really hard to find me. And it's really hard to get from that what you're looking for because they're just out on their own. And that's like kind of what's going on right now. And most people don't want to learn how to create food. You're getting that propaganda in you in the reality of that's wrong, that's bad. You shouldn't want to do that. You shouldn't want to be that. That's weird. Something wrong with you if you go out and source and get your own food. It's like they're doing everything they can to force you to be in this small little box, in a small little cage, so that when the time comes, good luck. Good luck, because you're not going to be able to know how to do anything. You're not going to have the skills. You're not going to have the experience. You're not going to have anything. And then you're not going to basically have nothing to the point that you can't even leave because you don't know any other way. And that's the unfortunate thing that I don't know why, but I hope life doesn't work with us as humans the same way that the animals do. But in reality, when I just look at generation after generation after generation of different stuff and our history of everything, it's like we're being treated as if we are animals. The way that the animals treat each other, the way the animals got to do with each other, we are also being treated the exact same way as what these animals are all about. You want to come in, Johnny? Oh, Johnny wants to come in too. We are being treated no differently. You can come. Can't chase nothing though. You just look really big in here. She already ate all the eggs. She needs extra food. We're doing extra running. That dog needs to. I'm gonna have to double up her food for the next couple months. We running now. We're finally having some real good times. But it's like we as humans are doing no different than what these animals are. How the cow is out to just devour and destroy and eat and consume all the grass. The chickens are just all about. That's all they're doing in here. They will. This is why I like them so much. They get all the bugs, everything out. They clear the house, man. They get it all out. When I used to have bugs like crazy inside that house. These little worm things, I have nothing. There's nothing around here. There's no insects because they are on a mission from sun up to sundown to get all the said potential threats out. Their food to just be able to survive, to be able to keep on going. In reality, they don't need it to survive. They barely eat my feed. They're out looking for bugs more than just sitting and eating this feed. And it's a powerful statement in reality because that's just what they're doing. They're out to just devour it all. They got to get it all out. And it's like we as humans are being that same towards each other. We're trying to devour it all. We're trying to just get it all so that there's nothing left. And then if there's nothing left, then what? Which is weird. Because once these chickens get all the bugs out, then what? But in reality, this is why I say at least we as humans are a little different than like a lot of rodents and a lot of like even dogs. I question them really because they're the way that they breed because of how many that they have. They'll have like a litter of like 14 puppies. It's really strange. It's like they are a rodent on the planet that just take over and consume. They just grow and multiply like insane. They're very, very weird because that's how all these things are in here. These rabbits are like that. These chickens are like that. They can multiply like crazy. But us as humans, we can only do like 1 or 2 a year, basically. You might get lucky. You might get three in a shot. You might have triplets or something, but that's not norm. It's normal just to have one. And but we do multiply like crazy. And we're always, that's a weird thing, and I wish I could get into the animals' brains a little bit more. But humans have this like desire to just want to always keep breeding, always keep mating, always keep more and more and more. We just have like this just hard desire in us. Just like we got it. That's all that we live for. That's how the cows are. That's how the goats are. They're just like every time the grill is in heat, the boys are just like we gotta do this. It's mandatory. And that drive is what drives the population to want to keep going, going and going and going and going. But after something strange going on today, this past like what, 40 years or so. No, I think since the 80s. Since the 80s. So I guess 40 years or so. That it's like there's a huge push that they're trying to stop humans from breeding and mating and having more. It's almost like, is that a good thing or is that a bad thing? I don't know. I just be sitting and paying attention to these animals a little, probably too much. It just gets me thinking and looking at my world. Thank you. What y'all doing? I've always had problems with the baby chicks and the dogs. I don't really have that problem too much anymore. It's something that I just know that when I come in to these animals and I see issues, I know how to like solve those issues. And I can see that the chicks are all a little scared. I can figure out, why are you scared? Okay, you're scared because there's a dog here. Or you're scared because I'm here. I can like say, fix that. I can solve that problem. And then I can show the chicks like there's nothing to be scared of here. Everything is good to go. And then everything just turns to be good to go. But it's like when it comes to us as humans, we can't just simply seem to do that. It's like we all know the best. We all got all the right answers, but no one's actually living the right answer. I don't know why I can't just get that saying stuck out of my brain. It's just stuck. These chickens are just the darn cutest. The big ones it's one of my biggest experiments I'm doing right now because I'm sick and tired of heat lamps and issues like that, and I want to be able to know how to raise baby chicks in the dead of the winter. I'm talking like negative 20 degrees. It's allowing the older ones that basically want to be moms, and then I give them the chicks, and then they take care of the babies and they keep them warm. And they just want to take care of each other. It's like they just take that role. We're like, oh, I see you guys are nervous, you're scared. I'll help you. I got you. Why the heck don't more human beings function that way? But I guess that's the part where stuff may sound weird when I say it like this, but like there's a God of me, and I'm the one that has the dominion over the animals. So I'm essentially the God to the animals. And when I see the animals are doing something, I can come in with my godly ways to be able to fix them. And then they look at me like, wow, how did you do that? How do you keep allowing food to keep going? How do you keep the predators away? How do you keep us safe? How do you keep giving us what we need all the time? And then that's why the animal wants to do everything to give back to me, to look at me like I'm that not so much as the savior, but something that's going to be able to give to them to make sure that everything's good to go. And that's the part with me on why I can say exactly why I believe that we as humans, Ophi, get out of there. I don't know why y'all like this chicken feed so much. Y'all are addicted to this more than dog food. Uh-uh, uh-uh, uh-uh. Y'all are addicted to this stuff. I see. I hear you. I don't know what it is. The chickens absolutely love it as well, so I don't know. It's very, very strange. But it's like more humans are not wanting to understand and accept that there is a God above them to be able to help them, be able to do the same thing that I'm able to simply do with these animals. And that's why we as humans are, I got it all, I know it all, I don't need no help, I don't need no nothing, I know what I'm doing. And then you end up just in control and doomed in reality. It's just neat. Like this big chick here, I don't know if you'll be able to see her. She's finding food for the young ones. This big. She's one of the moms. So all the little ones that are around her, she's basically is taking under her wing. And she'll go find some food and she'll make that noise and everyone comes like, ooh, she's helping them out to figure out how to be able to live. She's like, I already know how to do all this. I already got it all figured out. Let me help y'all now. She's not getting paid no extra. She's just living. Ophi. She's just living. She's teaching them what to do and how to be. She's keeping them all safe. She's like, don't go over there. There's a big old something over there, big old dog. And she's like, okay, there's food over here. And then all the others will come in and run in, and she's teaching them the way. Because I taught her the way. But why can't we as humans do that?